All right, let me tell you, from the second I walked through the double doors, glass, at Tedco's new office, I was welcomed and introduced to the staff, all with smiles on their faces. It was a breath of fresh air to meet the Tedco team, and I felt grateful for their hospitality, especially at 9 in the morning. And also, let me say thank you to my dad over there, because I was screaming at him to get in the car and get there on time. When I first met Miss Thomas, everything clicked. It felt like I was meeting myself in just a few years. Her bright smile and confident posture lit the room effortlessly as she opened her arms out for embrace. To tell you the truth, I was a bit nervous starting this experience. Believe it or not, I've been an introvert pretty much my entire life, until recently. However, Miss Thomas put these jittery feelings to rest as soon as we met. I was pleasantly surprised at her humbleness, and I could tell she was genuinely excited to have me there. Not even 5 minutes after I'd entered the building, she gave me a surprise. She said, "Shreya, we're going to be visiting the World Trade Center Institute in Baltimore this evening." The news came as a shock to me. Shreya Dinesh, a 9th grader, would be attending an international conference with the board of the WTCI. Finally, my day had started. The experience began with taking pictures, of course, expected from a marketing director, alongside the CEO and Miss Thomas herself. Shortly after, I was told Tedco would be hosting a women's delegation that had traveled from the Baltic states. Guys, they literally had to get on like 6 flights to get here. So I was really, really excited. They were coming to learn about local businesses in the Baltimore area, and one of them happened to be Tedco. Miss Thomas treated me like one of her own, seating me right next to the CEO, Mr. Lamel Saval, at the conference table. No, I'm serious, guys. She literally told me like I could not sit anywhere else. I was able to interact with and meet these people from the likes of Bloomberg, prestigious international universities, and those spearheading awing research. Throughout the 1.5 meeting, and trust me, it did not feel like 1.5 hours, I was exposed to an outsider's perspective on Tedco's purpose, as well as an understanding of how vital marketing is. I was pleased to be included in discussions with women in these prominent roles, an experience that wouldn't have been possible without Miss Tammy's flawless coordination. Now, enough of me talking. Take a look around you. You see drinks, you see food, you see labels. And do you know where all of this comes from? The marketing department. Especially in the conference made by the Baltics Women's Delegation, we provided food, company swag, and a considerable team effort. They all come out of marketing.
Say it again.
All right. Shortly after, once we had escorted the ladies out, like we literally had to push them out, they would not leave, I listened in on a marketing meeting with Miss Thomas as the lead facilitator. The agenda her team had created was called Secret Sauce, and I was pleasantly surprised when we started with kudos. Miss Thomas refused to start any meeting without going over what had been successfully done the week before. No company is perfect, and her group, notably all women, realized they hadn't achieved the communication timeline they'd wanted to during the meeting. But rather than berating them or pointing fingers, Miss Thomas acknowledged it as a learning experience and guided her associates on what to do the next time. My day ended with a visit to the World Trade Center Institute, or WTCI. Ms. Thomas, alongside her various responsibilities, which is a lot, had made it a priority to serve on WTCI's CEO Council, a group of hand-picked experts and professionals. I was able to meet Lieutenant Governor Aruna Miller just before entering the meeting room, an otherworldly experience. And let me tell you, although only having met me like maybe 5 hours ago, Miss Thomas looked at me with a pride similar to what a mother may have towards their daughter when I was taking a picture with Miss Aruna Miller. Once inside, I was able to interact with various women and men alike, all in prominent positions. Pretty much whatever you can think of, from Pandora Jewelry to Johns Hopkins International, there was a representative present. Ms. Thomas encouraged me to meet and talk with these various people, and I even met a woman representing McCormick Spices. I don't think I've ever had a more interesting conversation. My favorite part of this entire experience wasn't sitting in on the Baltics Women Delegation Conference, meeting the Lieutenant Governor, or even eating the delicious chocolate croissant I had that morning. It was towards the end of the day, on the 40-minute ride home from the WTCI, where Miss Thomas and I got to have a one-on-one conversation. I do not stop talking. She let me ask however many questions I wanted, and trust me, it was a long time. Like, I don't even think 40 minutes was enough. Her words provided me insight into her personal life, balancing her work as well as maintaining mental stability with a position that puts such an intense pressure on an individual, much less a colored woman. She let me learn about her family, and I could see the love flowing through her when she talked about her daughter currently serving our country. Now, actually at the rehearsal yesterday, Miss Thomas told me that this would be a conference that her daughter would love to come to, but she was unable to make it. So I'd like to say, Miss Thomas, please think of me as your daughter today. And yeah. That's what I need to try. But in conclusion, I cannot put into words how much this simple car ride inspired me and continued to an ending nursing experience. Even after being exhausted from the past day, I still felt the adrenaline rush through me when I continued to speak with her. When she dropped me off at my house, I truthfully do not think I stopped talking to my parents for the next week and a half. Before I end, I'd like to thank the people who made this success. First, Girl Scouts of Central Maryland, thank you so much for this opportunity and providing us with this wonderful, unique experience. Second, to the entire TechCo team and company. Thank you guys so much. Their kindness and assistance throughout is like more than what I could have expected, honestly. But considering we're honoring women, sorry, Aksha, I don't mean to put you on the spot. But I would like to have a special thank you to my amma and my sister, Neha, who wasn't able to make it today. But honestly, she's like such an inspiration to me. Oh my God, I didn't mean to cry. But I was really sad that she wasn't able to make it today because she goes to college like across the country. But thank you, honestly, thank you. I just don't know. Alright, just one more thing. We often like to think business executives are tightly wound and emotionless, but from February 21st, 2024, my shadow day, Miss Tammi Thomas of TechCo has proved time and time again to be quite the opposite. I cannot think of a better recipient for the Distinguished Women's Award, and I hope to continue our relationships for years to come. With cheers.
She needs, is this yours? Give it to him. No.
Sorry, you're gonna have to give me a little grace and mercy here. I know we're supposed to be upbeat, but Shreya has me crying. Shreya, we bonded so much. She's Anita said that she could share her with me. Anita's her mother. My daughter went to the same high school as Shreya's oldest sister. Her oldest sister is at Berkeley. My daughter graduated from Centennial High School 2 years ago. During the pandemic and the George Floyd situation, and instead of going to college, she decided to serve her country in the Navy. She last year get through this. She graduated last year from the Navy's nuclear propulsion program, and she's now deployed. She's on her third deployment, went out on Monday, and when Julie and Violet called me on December talking about this honor. At first I was like, no, are you kidding me? I can get you better people.
She did say that.
You know, to help raise money. And then I was like, well, wait a minute, if I come, then that means that my daughter would get a chance. She'll have a reason to be able to come home. But because of the conflict, she's not here. And Anita, like I said she could share Shreya with me. So again, please give me some grace and mercy just in case I am not as upbeat. I had prepared remarks, but yesterday we came for the rehearsal, and like Lisa, she spilled the beans about us being downstairs drinking. And so, you know, I met Lisa, and I was like, you know what, Lisa? We need to speak from the heart. We need to throw away this stuff and whatever God tell us, because we walk in the Word, so please bear with me. So I'm like, we need to get up here and just say what's on our heart. So I did prepare a little bit so that while I was here today, so just, again, give me grace and mercy. I want to start by saying, and it's funny because of the commercial you had on here, one of my favorite essays is really a sermon. It's by Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. My godmother, who's here today with me, knows that this is one of my favorite sermons. King gave it in 1968, the year that I was born. And what he says about the drum major instinct, I'm just going to give you an excerpt. And this reminds me so much of Shreya. And it says, well, first I should say, when he talks about the sermon in the beginning, it sounds like he's telling you not to want to be a drum major. But at the end, this is what he says. It's a good instinct if you don't distort it and pervert it. Don't give it up. Keep feeling the need for being important. Keep feeling the need for being first. But I want you to be first in love. I want you to be first in moral excellence. I want you to be first in generosity. The women in my life who have shown me what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. meant about agape love and the drum major instinct, some of them are here with me today, and I just want to acknowledge them. One is my godmother, Barbara Booker Wood, who's been with me since I was 6 years old. She went to all of my academic things, all of my athletic stuff when my mother could not make it there because she was working. Also here with me today is Lavinette Bartley, who's been with me since an undergraduate, since I was 18 years old, who flew up here from Alabama. I don't get these kind of recognitions often. I try to tell them to stay home. It is all about Shreya, but Lavinette taught me about professional development, and we learned about womanhood together. She had a son, so I'm just saying I was a tomboy, and we figured out this girl stuff together. Also with me today is Evelyn, my best friend, who loved up on me when I moved up here from Alabama. Evelyn taught me the importance of self-care. Like, I don't take breaks. She forced me to go to Australia and get braids. You know?
And they look great.
Hey, I'm receiving that, right? I also have my other posse here. And the reason I'm saying this is because Shreya and I talked about this, and you saw this in these shadow girls. They are amazing. They are amazing. But we want to make sure that they know is they can't get there by themselves. They need a village. They need a village. And I just want to call out my village who's here with me today. My daughter can't be here to sharing this with Shreya. I do have an all-women's team. It just happened to be like that. They are people. They're here today. Our boss is here, who really is supportive of a diverse set of talented people. As I mentioned before, the Girl Scout leaders, Artie and Julie, my niece and my nephew, like, it's just, And then I'm gonna bring it back to Shreya. This bossy, talented young lady, not only did she come and take charge, like I sat her beside our CEO, and I had to leave her in the room by herself with my team because we ended up having to put out a national press release that day. And I'm like, okay, I gotta leave her by herself. And I'm like, but you need to sit beside him. I come back and I find out she's in there talking, answering questions. She done got all the business cards from all these women from the Balkans, right? And she's talking about getting her a study abroad internship. And I'm like, hold up! I just met your dad today. I didn't tell him, like, you need to intern with us first. You know, I'm not gonna be part of this brain drain, right? Like, you know, so then we also, when I take her to the World Trade Center Institute, we have Jeremy here, who's vice president at WTCI. This is, they were having a board meeting. Now, this is my first board meeting going in. I'm at the CEO Council, which is the secondary board, but this is the high-level board where my CEO is on. So I'm like, okay, we're going here. I want you to introduce you to some folks. I take her in there. Before we can get in, like she said, the lieutenant governor came, and I was like, you know what, Shreya, you got this. Go introduce yourself to her. Tell her you work at TEDCO. And if you go out there, you'll see she took more, the lieutenant governor took more pictures with Shreya than anybody else. And then when she gets in there, Shreya gets business cards from all of these board members and tells them that she's available again for an intern. I'm like, look, little girl, I already told you you're working with us first. So yes, on the way home, I had told her mom and her dad that I was going to take care of her and bring her home. So she's right. I thought, and it was more than 40 minutes. She lives in Omadogs, okay? It takes an hour to get from home to her house. So have y'all ever been in the car for 60 minutes? Well, you heard how they And can I say this too? This will be the last part. When we were at the World Trade Center, now we had a full day, like for one, she got there at 9, but we all know, us women, we start working at 5:30 in the morning, right? So it was like, before she even got to me at 9, I had already done a full day's work, right? You feel me? We get to World Trade Center, that thing was at nighttime. It was at night up here in Baltimore. And I'm telling Shreya, I'm like, Shreya, we gotta go. She's like, no, I'm good. I'm like, Shreya. I'm like, young girl, I'm 55 years old. I gotta get back up at 5:30 in the morning, and I gotta get you home, safely. So we go, and I'm like 30 minutes into it. I'm like, we not there yet? Like, I didn't know we had cows and foxes and stuff in Howard County. And the whole time she's talking about all these people that she's met, and like, she's basically like, but I am gonna work for you, and when do I start? And I'm like, wait a minute. I gotta talk to HR. So am I not lying? By the time I pulled her up, I'm like, okay, I'm texting my team. Okay, y'all need to follow up with her, get the JD to her, and get her in place. Now, of course, we got busy, right, Lisa? We understand we got busy. And we're working up to it. We're about to come here today. And I'm like, y'all, is she signed up? Because ain't no way in the world she getting up on that stage in front of her mama and her daddy and saying she's not tied to us because she's going to go to the Balkans or the other folks. Yes. Fred is now the first 9th grader intern at TEDCO. Bylines of articles that will be, no, I'm serious. We are serious about our stuff. You will see bylines in articles with Shreya's name on it. And she will be able to share this with her sister who graduated from Centennial from the Humanities Department. And even though she went through the Humanities program, but Shreya told me that she was a better writer than her sister. She's very So thank you all. Because I'm from the South, from Alabama, I got all of the girls gifts, and I'm a nerd. So one of the gifts that they are getting is a notepad that they'll be able to write in, but this is the quote that my team, we decided was all about Shreya. And it says, "Tough times never last, but tough people do." I just want to share everything that they're getting. They also got the latest Ink magazine with an all-woman cover. Time magazine with a female cover, on the cover. And they got Becoming, but it's adapted for young readers. And lastly, as I walk away, so that Julie knows that I'm very serious about this, I will be making a $1,000 donation for the piece that they were talking about for the deaf. And I'm putting a challenge out for all of you that have any kind of resources, $10, $15, $1,000. Please make sure that you donate tonight before you leave.
One more round of applause, please, for all of our ladies, distinguished women, and all of our shadow girls. Janine Burkhead, Tawana Brown-Smith, Julia Jaskin, Lisa Mayers, and Tammi Thomas. Showing our girls a great time. The girls did a wonderful job of sharing their shadow experiences. I mean, I took so much away from this tonight. I hope you did too. I know that each one of them will benefit from this unique opportunity. I mean, there's already an internship passed out, right? So I know that they will benefit from this for years to come. So again, please join me in recognizing the 2024 Distinguished Women Honorees. And finally, I'd like to call Cynthia Rogers-Ware back to the stage to give final announcements and instructions for how you can pick up your auction items. I know you want to take